himself in the performance of outstanding service in the United States as an Aerospace Repair and Reclamation Section Chief, 512th Maintenance Squadron, 512th Airlift Wing, Dover Air Force Base, Delaware. During this period, and technical guidance ensured safe and reliable C-5M and C-17 aircraft were provided for over 7,000 sorties, supporting Presidential, Air Force Reserve Command, and Air Mobility Command rapid global mobility missions. Was vital in boosting production efficiency. Exerting experience and determination, his actions established positive gains in capabilities by over 20%. Pairing highly skilled mechanics to newly assigned maintainers, he embedded a culture of compliance that sustained a 5-year high 95% quality assurance pass rate. A singularly distinguished accomplishment, distinguished career, and in the service of his country, and great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Effective 15 July 2024, you are relieved from duty. From the 512th Maintenance Squadron, Dover Air Force Base, Delaware. You are retired. Effective 15 July 2024 for Air Force Instruction 36-3203. In the grade of Master Sergeant, received to the home of selection by the order of the Secretary of the Air Force. We will now present Master Sergeant Elasio Blue with a certificate of appreciation from Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States. It reads, "Congratulations as you retire from the United States Armed Forces. Thank you for your contributions to the safety and security of America. As you begin this next chapter of your life, I hope that you feel tremendous pride in the service to your nation and that you continue to find ways to invest in your community and our country. Melania and I send our best wishes for the continued success in all your future endeavors. May God bless you, our brave military service members, and our heroic veterans. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump." Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the back of the room as Corporal Barnes brings forward the retirement shadow box.
And it's going to be a little tough without the microphone, so bear with me. Family, friends, Colonel Rogers, commanders, first sergeants, distinguished guests, former co-workers, former managers, and especially the great men and women who previously wore or are currently wearing the uniform, let me say thank you for being here. Some of you have driven over 6 hours to be here. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. My speech isn't like a typical retirement speech. Then again, there's nothing really typical about me. To begin, I'd like to establish a couple of housekeeping items. If I slur my words or say something unintelligible, it's because I have a cold. There's a commotion at the doors, and a bunch of men in suits and dark glasses come into the hangar. It's weaponized law enforcement coming to arrest me. If you don't understand, you don't know me very well. 4 months ago, I sent President Trump an invitation to attend. I did receive a reply. It was an automated reply, but I received a reply. As you should know, everything changed last night. President Trump was injured with an assassination attempt. Sergeant Lewis, you did an amazing job with my biography. An amazing job. Thank you. Amazing. Organizing realize it would be like how so many stores do nowadays with self-service checkout and bring your own bags. After confirming that I even wanted a retirement ceremony is when the real work began. We wouldn't be standing here without the talents and connections of Sergeants Ashley Eisinger, Wayne Lewis, Mike Workman, Dakota Fox, Wayne Leahy, and Scott Kasprinsky. The men who actually constructed the platform in this area that you're viewing, Sergeants Nicholas Anderson, Travis Lockwood, Patrick Garrett, Senior Airman Wright, Senior Airman Vezine, Senior Airman DM Pelez, and Airman First Class Ramirez Plata. You guys rock. I know a couple of you got promoted yesterday, so I apologize if I said your wrong way. Some of you have never been on a military base, let alone inside a brand new hangar. This hangar opened up 3 months ago. The last hangar built on this base was nearly 50 years ago. That's 50 years ago. It's only the third time that I've been in this hangar. The hangar down the street is where I've done my work since 2009. It has lighting that forces us to work via flashlights, HVAC that blows hot in the summer and cold in the winter, and I understand that this is the military, but we should expect better. At the ribbon cutting ceremony here 3 months ago, Colonel Rogers said, quality of life for maintainers is important. A more true statement couldn't have been said. We can do better, and we did do better, except for the ceiling fans. They don't work. In 2020, when they broke the ground underneath all of our feet, Delaware's politicians were competing and posturing for the spotlight to take credit for making this hangar possible. 3 months ago, at the ribbon cutting ceremony, those same politicians were in attendance again to take the credit. We all should have been here 3 months ago, because without all of our tax dollars, $45 million worth of tax dollars, this hangar would not have been possible. All politics are local. The former Marines here today who have ever attended a Marine Corps ball know the long-standing tradition of always recognizing the youngest and oldest Marine in attendance. I'd like to do similar, but open it up to all the branches and recognize the oldest veteran amongst us. If you are 65 years or older and served in the military, please stand up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. How old are you? How old are you? 73. Is there anybody younger than 22? Younger than 25? Wow, we have a bunch of old heads. Younger than 30?
All right.
Wouldn't you love, you can sit down, thank you. Wouldn't you love to get those two together and discuss how the military was pre-woke military and post-woke military? Wouldn't you love for them to share notes? That would be one heck of a conversation. Deciding whether or not to continue in the reserves or retire was difficult. Ask anyone. 1 month I was retiring. The next month I was staying in. But once in my lifetime, I was unsure of a decision. I weighed the pros and cons. I weighed the pros and cons for years. Hell, it took me months to decide what the pros and cons were. Some people say I'm very slow to make decisions. I'm still deciding if those people are right or not. As the saying goes, when you love your job, it's not work. For me, waking up at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday and Sunday mornings to be here at 6:30 was work. Being a reservist does come with benefits such as good pay, health insurance, plus a pension if you make it to 20 years. The downfalls are missing events at home, forfeiting freedoms most civilians enjoy. Never forget the mandatory COVID shot that the military had to get. But I'd rather have more freedoms than less. I'd rather be sleeping on weekends. I'd rather be relaxing than working. Now I can do all that. While you may hear the tone of my voice as complaints, I truly have no regrets. Years ago, when I started thinking about my retirement, I couldn't help but think of all the similarities that I have with Tom Brady. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. I'm serious. For those who don't know, Tom Brady might be the greatest quarterback of all time on the greatest team of all time in that era, the New England Patriots. Where's Jake? That's for you. For example, Tom Brady is a handsome, intelligent, witty, athletic, conservative guy. I am a guy. And I'm conservative. Tom Brady was in love with a supermodel who was rich and famous. I am in love with a supermodel. In my eyes, she is rich with encouragement and famous for her ability to find the positives during the darkest of times. Tom Brady was an individual member on possibly the greatest football team ever. I am an individual on the greatest military team in the world ever. Setting aside all of the similarities Tom Brady and I share, militarily, there's nothing really special about me. I'm not a fighter pilot who shot down enemy aircraft. I'm not an infantryman with 5 confirmed kills. I certainly wasn't wounded in any combat action. Heck, I never saw action. In 27 years, I missed going to the first Gulf War, missed the second Gulf War, missed Bosnia and Herzegovina, missed Somalia, missed Kosovo, missed Afghanistan. I missed it all. After high school, I thought I was joining the Marine Corps, not the Peace Corps. I realized only a couple months ago how I avoided a combat zone. It was by divine intervention. In 1988, when I was 17, my family visited my aunt and uncle and grandparents in North Jersey. My parents eventually broke the news to my grandmother that I was joining the Marines. My grandmother immediately began praying as loud as she could in Armenian because she couldn't speak English. I can only conclude that her prayers were answered. God bless her soul. The months leading up to today were very hectic and full of a ton of coordination. The Marine in dress blues, for example, he walked my shadow box down, Greg Lawrence. Greg was a mechanic in our repair shop in the Air Force. Similar to me, Greg served in the Marines prior to us working together in the Air Force. A couple years ago, he said he's getting out. He had enough. I tried talking him into staying, but he wanted to close the book on his military service. The military lost an extremely talented mechanic. We kept in touch over the years. He replaced the ball joints on my F-150 with super cheap. Thank you. We gotta do my turbos next. They're coming up. But fast forward to 3 months ago, when I told him I was retiring. He was excited to hear the news. I was excited to share the news. He said he would definitely attend the ceremony. Then I said, dude, what are the chances that you would want to walk my shadow box down for the ceremony? There was an uncomfortable pause, and then he said, fuck yeah! Do you want me to wear my Marine Corps dress blues? True story. True story. Being in the military, I am always happy when people, complete strangers, acknowledge my military service. They usually say something like, thank you for your service. I don't know if it's the haircut, or if it's what great physical shape I'm in, or if it's just the automatic reply from the Home Depot cashier when I give her my military ID asking for a discount. A couple weeks ago, we went to Home Depot. Jennifer was mad because I wanted 67 cents off of the total bill. In Marine Corps boot camp, and basically your first year, we were methodically broken down and reconstructed to eagerly accept our fate to go fight in some foreign conflict in a foreign land. Because of that preparation, some people call it brainwashing, and in an unhealthy way, I carry a guilty conscience for never serving this country in a hostile or wartime capacity. Just as there are military members like me who have not served this country in a hostile theater, there are thousands, tens of thousands even, who have. Some of them are here with us today. I'm thankful for their friendship, and we should all be grateful for their service. Greg Barnes, who served in Afghanistan for 8 months, please stand up. John Robinson, that served in Afghanistan for a year. Chuck Harrison, who served in Afghanistan and East Timor for over a year. Anyone else that's been in a hostile or combat zone, please stand up and be acknowledged. These guys deserve our recognition. These guys are the real heroes. These guys are the real patriots. Thank you. To my family, thanks for tolerating me. Then again, you don't have a choice. Jennifer, I love you. I don't say those 3 words enough to you, but it exists with all that we do together. I know I can be very difficult. I know I can be very argumentative. But during the rare times, honestly, the rare times when we argue, I'm always relieved when we conclude our disagreement by me whispering those 3 words in your ear. I was right. In 1992, as a Lance Corporal, I was the youngest technician in the electronics shop. Today, I might be the oldest Master Sergeant in the Air Force. I have fond memories of Japan in 1994. I was in Okinawa, and I met someone who would become one of my best friends. He was an air traffic controller named Corporal Paul Weeks. We were 22 or 23 years old, and I remember one day his attempt to challenge the chow hall cuisine. He invited me over to his dorm room for spaghetti dinner. There weren't any meatballs, just spaghetti. Paul bought a box of the cheapest spaghetti he could find with the largest metal can of Hunt's spaghetti sauce. On that metal can were big bold letters that said, "with meat flavoring." I read the label and said, "Paul, there's no meat in the ingredients." He snatched the can out of my hands and pointed to the letters and said, "But it has meat flavoring." We laughed like we were high on drugs at the metal can of Hunt's spaghetti sauce. Scott Kasprinsky, you are pretty fearless. Don't take it any notches further because it will change directness. Gotta be careful. But I am in awe at your open-mindedness in the Air Force and life in general. I remember meeting you here in May of 2009 when we were assigned to hell. I mean, the old ISO shop, led by Sergeant Swagger. Scott is always volunteering to serve. By the way, Scott helped thousands of Afghan nationals transition to the United States and processed them in Fort Dix, New Jersey. Speaking of Afghanistan, let's never forget almost 2 years ago, the United States' most disastrous evacuation that left 11 Marines, 1 soldier, and 1 Navy corpsman dead. Nobody, not one person, was held accountable for 13 military members dead. How does that happen? When we damage an aircraft, there's an investigation and someone is held accountable. How is nobody held accountable for 13 dead service members? All politics are local. To Sydney, God should clone your personality, right? If you don't know, Sydney has one of the most pleasant demeanors, and I don't think I've ever seen her angry or upset in the 10 or 11 years that we've worked together. You're amazing. Sergeant Cadoni Hill, you may be the most courageous and principled person that I know, male or female. The most principled person and courageous that I've ever met. For those of you that don't know, you just don't know why I say this, and that's fine. So Bobby, Jake, Brandon Cunningham, the lunch crew guys who would ask me who's driving to the chow hall or text me, what time are we meeting for lunch? You're gonna have to find a new chow hall buddy. I still laugh thinking about when we go pick up Sergeant Brandon Cunningham. I would roll down the window in my car and yell as loudly as I can through the parking lot, "Let's go, Brandon!"
Oh my gosh.
His face would turn beet red. At times, all politics are local. I have zero regrets for my decision in 1989 to join the military. I've met incredible people along the way and created some of the greatest of memories. Today, all of you, simply by attending this ceremony, have created another memory that I will cherish forever. Thanks to all of you, but especially the real heroes, those who served this country in a wartime theater and never had a ceremony. God bless you, God bless the USA, and God bless President Trump. Thank you.